you talked about endings. That's a difficult part in life, endings and saying goodbyes and, realizing that, after tomorrow I won't be meeting you. I will be meeting you at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then we say goodbye and it's time to go. But, just to remind you of what they have been doing here, they arrived on Monday late because of a snowstorm. And on Tuesday, they got to know the Peace-Pala facilities, and then they heard lectures from me, from Reetta, who's no longer here, and from Jari and Gunnar. And what we wanted to show was that, youth participation is important. It can take many forms. It's different in European countries like Lithuania and Luxembourg and so on. And and that in order to promote youth participation, we need to know how young people are motivated, and they need to pay attention critically also to, to those parts of society that young people really cannot take part of. And then Jari and Gunnar concentrated on e-participation, showing us that if you want to use digital tools, we need to understand what young people need. We need to understand how these different devices are designed, and they need to pay attention to how all of those devices are connected to decision making. So it's about many things. And Reetta, who's a specialist on disability studies, Reetta showed us that some other groups might be marginalized, not because we want them to be marginalized, but because we maybe hadn't been thinking enough about them. And Reetta also told that even the active young people might get discouraged. And then Jari and Gunnar invited us to work with the groups. And yesterday, on the second day of a seminar, we did this SWOT analysis, and it showed that there are possibilities within e-participation, but there are some points we need to be aware of. And today we heard those presentations, and tomorrow it's time to go home. So that's basically how the seminar works. And I was happily taking notes of your ideas and presentations for an app. And I thought that your presentations quite well sort of responded to the lectures we had and the ideas we have been thinking in our research career and also in our development projects. Namely, all the apps and other web pages, other digital tools you described, they were quite many-sided. I mean, some of you concentrated on helping young people to talk together, to have conversations, to have a dialogue and to learn. There are some others, they're more about reaching young people and decision makers and make them talk together. And for some it was about creating platforms for voting. That in the world of political science is called direct democracy, so letting citizens to decide on the matters affecting them, instead of going to an election booth every 4 years. But taking stands to the matters as they happen. And for some applications, it was about providing information and counseling for young people on different matters, so reliable information. And being able to engage anonymously, but also being able to engage as a citizen. So even there are only 8 groups here, but it was still a really wide frame on what participation actually means. And for me, that's what is so great about participation and promoting participation. It can take many forms, and the projects can be really different. So that means that when you are promoting participation, you can use your own imagination and you can learn new things. But at the same time, it's also what makes participation really difficult. Because for different young people, the needs might be different. And for the same young people, needs might be different today and then 1 year to come. So then we are promoting participation. We are facing an interesting, a challenging, but not an impossible task. So I thank you for coming to Finland, and thank you for your hard work. We're very impressed by the quality of your work, and it's been great to know you. And at 4 o'clock, those of you who come to skiing will, well, let's see how it goes. Be prepared to fall down a bit, because at some point when you are learning skiing, you will fall down. But that's how learning goes. And it's the same thing with participation, I guess. We can't expect young people to be ready. They might fall down at some point. and it's our job to make sure that, you know, they can fall down safely without getting hurt. So right, I connected skiing and participation, and now I will throw the virtual ball to Jari, because you're into virtual stuff, so you know how this goes.
Thank you, Tomi very nicely already summarized what we have done, so I'm just going to say thank you to you all. So on behalf of the All Youth project and the researchers, me and Gunnar, also for Pia and Ville, thank you for inviting us for this seminar. It has been super interesting to have the discussions with you and hear about your viewpoints and opinions, and we have had great discussions, lots of to reflect after this. And I was also super happily surprised about the quality of your work you did. As I said, we gave you a challenging task and only, I don't know, about 3 hours to work on that task, and each group did a magnificent work, so you can be very proud of yourself. So this was like a treasure trove for research data, I think, that we got from your presentations, and especially also the discussions we had yesterday regarding e-participation challenges and opportunities and so forth. So I think you everybody reserve a big hand of applause now, and thank you all for participating.
Yay.